So, Tony, tell me about your organisation, the work you do, and the types of client with whom you work.
Sure. Okay, so we are a training organisation primarily, but we're a little bit unusual in as much as that we have three, I guess, elements or parts to what we do. The first part, where we started really, is the open programs, open college programs, where people can enroll and turn up for either weekend training programs or evening classes or CPD classes, and they're open to anybody who wants to come along. The second part of what we do is our training and development work within the corporate world or organizations. And that's got two parts within it. One, bespoke training based on the requirements of the organization. And also we offer full qualifications, ILM leadership, ILM coaching and mentoring, all of those type of qualifications as well. And then the third part, which kind of feeds into and enriches all of the other things, is our coaching work. And again, that's got two parts. We run a life coaching center, actually here at our training center in Swindon. Plus we deliver executive or performance coaching all over the country to organizations large and small. So a really interesting mix that keeps everything fresh and happening and leads to new developments.
And the type of clients?
The type of clients, well, it's a really mix. And I think that's great as well, because we're able to bring learnings from one, as an example, a big blue chip, to maybe a smaller emerging SME that's developing its skill set or its ability to take that next step in development. So large blue chips, small SMEs, and a particular interest of my own is micro businesses or startups who are really trying to do something different. And we love working with those and really helping them take that next step in their development.
That's great. So you recently won an award.
Yes.
How does it feel to win the award? And to what do you attribute the success?
Yeah, so here it is, Best NLP and Coaching Training Organisation in the United Kingdom. It feels great, I have to tell you, it does feel great. And the reason it feels great is this is where we started. I mean, we do lots of other training programs now, but we started with NLP and coaching programs. And the combination of the two, that we were the first in the UK, I believe, to do that, combine coaching with NLP in a qualification space, I really genuinely believe the hard work that we've put in over the last 15 years has been recognized by somebody other than our students, which of course they love what we do. So it feels like a validation, it feels like somebody giving you the thumbs up and saying, well done. And in many ways, it's caused us to stop, think, oh wow, we're doing something right. How can we make that even more so?
That's great. So what's your approach when undertaking a new client or project, and how do you ensure right from the start that the outcome meets the needs of everyone involved?
Okay, that's a good question as well. Well, we always start with the end in mind, and some people get confused about these kind of things, but begin with the end in mind. What does the organization or the training manager that you're meeting with or the HR consultant that you're meeting, what do they want for the organization or for the team? What is that outcome, either skill-wise or behavior-wise or understanding, that they want different at the end of the process? So we begin with that. And even when we're delivering full qualifications like ILM level 3 or 5 or whatever it is in leadership management, we try and gear as much as possible towards what they want. Off-the-shelf training is great, and that's often quite cheap and easy to access, but our approach is to really design it bespoke for that organization, so that at the end of the process, they get what they wanted.
So tell me about your business and your ongoing strategy and what techniques you might employ to achieve it.
Okay. Well, I'm often asked about this, and I'm not sure I ever give a proper answer, in as much as I think too many people, when they're running a business, get caught up in either so-called strategic thinking to the point of having lots of plans and doing very little, or get so caught up in the day-to-day running of the business, they never really grow it. My, I guess, motivation is to think about what's our outcome. Now, we began 15 years ago, and I was very clear about where I wanted to be with the organization, but more importantly, what we wanted to be doing and with whom. So it goes back to that Covey thing, begin with the end in mind, have a clear mental picture of your outcome, I guess it's the mantra from NLP, well-formed outcomes. Be clear about what you want, put in the right resources, and, you know, pretty much you'll get what you want.
So you say you've been doing this for 15 years. Can you tell me a little bit about your prior working experience and how you draw on that in your current role?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, back in the day, it feels like a long time ago now, I worked for the largest optician group in the UK. And let me tell you, that is some hell of a business to be in. I really, really enjoyed my time there, and I look back quite with warm thoughts about that business. But it was definitely time for me to go and do something different. But what I learned from that is, and you do learn fast in that business, let me tell you, is be clear about what you want, get the right people doing the right job. I was a training manager in that other organisation, I suppose I better mention that. And budgets were tight, and you really had to make a difference very, very quickly. So you learn hard and you learn fast, but I don't think that's such a bad thing.
So you speak about learning. What's been the most important thing that you've learned through your career so far, and how has it helped you achieve your success?
Okay. I think one of the main things that I've learned is about really the compass that guides you, and having an ethical framework that you really believe in and you really operate out of. And, you know, being straight and honest with people, either the students when you tell them you've got to have to work harder, or with organizations when they ask for something, don't overpromise, say, you know, we really are going to be able to do what we say we're going to do and deliver. Keep your promises, speak straight, don't talk in double talk or confusion, and do the right thing. And I think a lot of that comes from what I learned in the early days of my training in NLP is about philosophy. You know, have a philosophy for success. And I remember at the time thinking, well, what is my philosophy for success? And I think developed one from that point, which is more or less based on, you know, be clear about what you want or what you want to help people with, if it's a project that you're working on, and operate out of the presuppositions of NLP. You know, there's no failure on your feedback. If you always do what you've always done, guess what's going to happen? And often people ask for training and development work, and then when you start talking to them, they've not tried anything different. So often it's small things that have a big impact on teams and organizations. So I guess that's probably part of what I've learned. You know, be straight and do the right thing, in short.
So what are your thoughts on the state of the coaching and training industry currently? And are there any particular issues or changes affecting it?
Yeah, there are. When the economic crash happened, that was painful. And, you know, as always, one of the first things that gets cut is the training budget. And it was interesting, at the time, we saw, you know, a lot of training companies disappearing literally, you know, overnight. I'd come in every morning, there'd be another one gone. I was thinking, wow, some of these people have been around a long, long time. And I don't think those budgets have ever, or in fact will ever, recover back to where they were. Our way of, you know, staying in business, surviving, and indeed thriving was to go back to basics and to speak to all of our clients and say, what is the core thing you want, and how can we do it the most financially viable way possible? And so it taught us to work smarter, not just harder, to be clever about how we put things together, to use technology, and to, you know, offer some blended approach for certain things, and just to maintain strong relationships. I think going forward, some of the challenges are around online learning and so-called mobile learning. There are lots of versions of that being tried out and being used at the moment. Udemy is a good example, but it's got its limitations, and a lot of these online things are a race to the cheapest possible, and the quality can suffer. So I think there's a challenge around that, and certainly we've learned a lot when we started putting our toe into that distance learning or online learning space, and certainly we've learned a lot and want to build on what we've learned and make it even better.
So what challenges and opportunities have you yourself faced during your time here, and how have they affected what you do?
Okay, well, there are always challenges, and different challenges come in different guises. Oftentimes, it's things that you take for granted suddenly change, and you haven't even noticed that they've changed. The expectations of students, as an example, who come to our open programs, that's changed a lot. So that's been great because every year we have our meetings, standardization meetings, how can we improve, what's the feedback from the students or from our organizations, and that really has helped us grow. So that's been sometimes challenging about people's expectations. Of course, the economy is always a challenge at the moment. And I think technology has been a challenge. We've had to learn new things, learn new ways of working, and accept, I think, that not everybody wants to sit in a classroom and learn because either their work schedule or their life's work balance schedule, whatever way you want to call that, just doesn't allow for it. So we've had to become more flexible in that, and maybe that's been a good thing because for a long time I was never keen on that. So I've learned, actually, just because you don't like it, other people do. So that's been very, very interesting. I think the profession has begun to grow up and take itself more seriously. Certainly in the coaching space, the professional bodies have put a lot of work in there to develop how they communicate to the general public. And I think there's more to be done there. Yeah.
So how do you manage your staff and how do you cultivate an atmosphere that's conducive to a productive working environment?
Let him go by. We'll do that edit. What even is that? A tank. So if you ask that question again,
Yeah.
1, 2.
So how do you manage your staff and how do you cultivate an atmosphere that's conducive to a productive working environment?
Oh, well, they manage me. To be honest with you, I take the Steve Jobs philosophy here. Hire the best people you can and let them do what they do. Don't micromanage. Let people, give them the vision, give them the mission or the task or whatever it is, and let people do what they're good at. That's why you've hired them. We really do try to, and I think successfully, generate a culture of can-do and wanting to be here. It's interesting, even with the students who come on the open programs, we've been doing this for a long time now, and there are hundreds of college members. They will just pop in for a coffee or to use the library or to ask a couple of questions or ask if there's a CPD program coming up that they might be interested in. So we have tried and I think successfully developed a sense of community. And in many ways, I think that's part of our success. People want to be involved. They want to see what we're doing. They want to come along and be part of the process. And I'm very lucky the team of people that we have working here, I think, are probably world class.
So what future aspirations do you have regarding the business, and do you have any future plans or projects you'd like to share with us?
Okay, well, the main thing is to continue to develop and grow, the business, but almost from a non-business point of view, grow the depth and breadth of what the college does and how we interact both with students who come to open programs, but also at an organizational level, doing corporate organizational change work or training. Because, as I've said, that is changing, and we need to be nimble enough to make the most of that opportunity. I've mentioned about the online opportunity, if I want to call it that, and we have learned a lot about that. Actually, a chance conversation with an old colleague from my old optician days about our online fledgling offering led to a very interesting conversation about how we could offer them access to lots of training that they could access at any point online, their own account, their own branding website. And we've trialed that, and that's been a huge success. And in many ways, they've always been like a guinea pig for us. We've got some of their training, plus lots of our training on that platform. It's been a huge success. So now we're going to maybe roll that out to other organizations that we work with and make that some other interesting offering, thereby having a more blended approach and helping people really get more bang for their buck.
That's great. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, it's been 15, coming up to 16 years that we've been doing this, and I guess I want to thank people. So, I want to thank the people who've trusted us to hire us. The open programs where people hand over their hard-earned cash and give up, their weekends and come on a training program for NLP or coaching. But also the organizations who we've got great relationships with, who, you know, over a long period of time have stuck with us and hired us to do great work, and they've seen the benefit. And thank the team. But of course, I want to thank the people who've nominated us and sent us the award, because we really were chuffed to get this, and it's been a real privilege for somebody else to acknowledge us. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony.
Cheers.